Okay, we're ready. Go ahead.
Please, all drivers, pay attention. Thank you for coming to KWC 2022 Portugal. I hope you all have fun. I cannot hope that you all win, but I hope you're all happy now and after the race. So I'm gonna say thank you also to the track for the good job they've been doing so far. And I'm gonna let Greg talk to you about a few changes we had to make in the rules for safety reason. And so Greg, it's up to you. And I'll just stay around here to help you if they have any questions. Okay? Here you go, Greg. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so welcome everybody for this 2022 Kart World Championship. We're obviously very excited that finally we can look for a successor of Michael Schuttler, who won the last KWC, which was in Charlotte in the United States. So it's very exciting for us as well to know that next Saturday there will be somebody else, or the same driver maybe, get the title of Kart World Champion, which is, you guys all been seeing that the level during practice is extremely high, so whoever comes out on top will be a fantastic driver. So we're really looking forward to see how this championship unfolds. Like Paul said, we had to make some small adjustments to the rules. Only an hour ago, I've uploaded all the changes, so the final rule book for the entire event is online. You can find it on the Facebook and the website of KWC. All the changes, there are no changes in there which make it a different championship. All the basics have stayed exactly the same, but we have explained certain things better based on the particularities here of the track in Portugal. So everything should be a lot clearer now. As I said, all the changes in the rules are marked in red. So I do advise for everybody tonight, before the start of the event, to go through these rules and read them very carefully. You all spent quite some money to come and race here, and it would be a pity that you make mistakes against the rules that will obviously have an impact on your race results. I'm not going to read the rules from A to Z, that's way too much, but I can go over a few of the basics, and especially the things which are particular for the event. Every day there will be many races with many drivers, and we all want the race day to finish as planned without delays. So in a championship like this, we will try to be as professional as we can be with the means we have, but we also expect the same from you guys. When it comes to timing, we really want everyone to be here on time. We will follow our race schedule, and if a driver is not here, everything continues. We will never wait for one driver. If you're not here for qualifying, you won't qualify, and if you're not on time for the race, you won't start the race. So it's really important that when you check the timing schedule, that for example, for every day, in the morning we need all the drivers for Group A and Group B, whilst during race B, already then, and during that qualifier session, all the drivers have to be in that briefing room over there for their kart draw. Okay? It's really important that everybody's there. You will learn which kart you will have for the race. And obviously, if every day something new has to be told to you guys, that's where it will happen. So it's really important that you are all there on time, and also with your suit on, with your helmet, so that when a race finishes, we want all the drivers to be ready in the pits. A race finishes, everybody comes out, puts the weights away, and all the next group, you go straight to the kart, and we will go racing. Every day we have, I think it will be 12 races each day. And as I said before, it's in all our interests that we finish at the time that we want, which is more or less at 6 o'clock in the evening, so that something remains for us to do at night as well. Okay? The main thing that we wrote in the rule book is the qualifying procedure. So unlike Nations Cup, where you go on the track and you could choose position to wait for somebody you know, tomorrow you will all go on to the track and you will race immediately. We will release all of you with either a 1 or a 2 second gap in between you guys, and you have to race immediately. When we release you, you have to go on the throttle immediately. Unless for the first race tomorrow there are new tires, so then we will give you 2 laps to get the new stuff off these tires. That's the one thing. But the principle of qualifying is that you don't wait for nobody. If we see a driver slowing down or stopping on the track, you will automatically start last, okay? So the qualifying procedure is explained in the rules, so please read that carefully. Another thing which we have explained is a strategic element, which is a mandatory pit stop each race. During each 20-minute race, you will have to perform a pit stop. And it's very similar to what we've done in Nations Cup, but obviously some people haven't raced Nations Cup. So when you enter the pit stop there is a line marked with the 2 cones. When you pass this line, you are detected into the pits, and you will spend minimum 35 seconds into the pits, okay? So once you've crossed that line and those cones, we really want you to slow down. Yesterday, it was yesterday, yes. We've seen many people drive way too fast, and it's not necessary. You have 35 seconds to move to the end of the pits, and then where the screen is at, there you will see your name with your time in the pits counting up. You can leave the pits and aim for 35 seconds in the pits, but there are penalties if you leave the pits too soon. So we strongly advise not to take too much risks there, because you cannot win the race in the pits, but you can definitely lose it. One thing also which we saw yesterday, which will not be allowed, is that you come from a long way back and launch yourself towards the pit exit to have more speed compared to somebody who is standing still. We will mark the area where you will have to park your cart. So it will not be allowed, like I said, to come from a long way back and launch yourself onto the track, okay? So the entire pit procedure and what the consequences are if you don't do it well is all clearly explained into the rules now, all right? And then finally, we want to talk about fair play and the way we look at racing. All of us, all the race officials, we've all been drivers as well. We really strongly motivate good and clean racing, hard racing, but it has to be fair. That's the most important thing for us. So when you guys are racing, when you go for overtakes, you can never bump somebody off his line. Bumping to overtake will always be time penalties. If you bump somebody by mistake, the easiest thing you can do, raise your hand so that we, the marshals, can see that you've made a mistake. It can happen, but just raise your hand, kind of apologize, and that will be all good. It's part of racing. But if you bump somebody off the line, there will be consequences for that. You can avoid that by returning the position yourself. For overtakes, you will always have to be 50% on the inside. That's a very easy rule for us. So if you want to overtake, make sure that the front of your cart is at least 50% on the inside of the cart you overtake. Also, when racing side by side, if there's people on your outside and they are 50% alongside, you cannot run them into the grass. We really want people to respect each other's position. So if you're side by side and the guy next to you is 50% alongside, you cannot just push him into the grass. That will also be very important when we have the double file rolling starts. So for all the drivers which are on the outside, we don't want 10 carts there in the grass in the first corner. So it will be side-by-side racing, but all of you can race well, and it's up to us to penalize if we see people making mistakes against these rules, okay? Then finally, something practical as well. We've seen that after a session, many of the LED blocks, they disappear. Many people take the LED with them, but after every session, we urge you to put the LED back where it belongs so that all the other drivers can use it for the next race. And also don't forget your personal number plates. You have to use this throughout the entire event. So we urge that you take it, because if you have to come and get a new one, it will cost you, right? So think about those number plates each time you get out the cart. Then finally, also something which is different compared to Nations Cup is the weight check. We will always weigh the top 6 and 2 random drivers, and we will weigh everybody onto the scale, but without the cart. So everyone has to be 90 kilos after the race, and we will mark an area on the scale, and everybody will have to be in this area so that you all get weighed exactly the same. All right? And I think from my behalf, I've said most of the things I had to say. You want to add something?
Yes, I'd like to add a few things, just actually 2 things. First thing is, you don't need to come in full throttle through the pit. If you do that, we will punish you. You will get a time penalty, because you have 35 seconds from the pit entry to the pit exit. So you need to drive slowly, and you'll need to stop in the designated area. Okay, we will have a camera filming, so we will know if you have stopped in the designated area or not. And the second thing I like to say is exactly about the timed qualifying lap. You will have 2 laps in the morning for warm-up, because the tires will be new. But we will stop you on the short circuit, on the B circuit, and from there we will release you, okay? So just so that you know that when you see either Chris or Nick in the middle of the track, please don't run over him. He's actually stopping you and then from there he will release you, and you will open the lap immediately when you pass by the gate right here. So you open the lap, you complete the lap, you finish, and keep your throttle on all the way to the back straight. Over there you can stop, and again you will see Chris or Nick, and they will tell you your pole position, your second, your third, just like we do every year. Okay? Okay, Greg here.
I forgot to tell you about the time penalties as well. It was used in Nations Cup as well, that for time penalty we are using this flag, but it will be shown to you on this bridge, which goes over the start-finish line. If you see this plus your cart number, or your personal driver number, actually, it will be your personal driver number, you will have to come to the pit, the penalty area, which is the pit lane of the small track right there. There is always one of our officials over there. There's 2 cones marked. This is where you will be serving either the light or the hard time penalties, which are 10 or 30 seconds. That's for bumping, etc. That's also written in the rules. So if you see this particular flag plus your driver number, you have to come to this time penalty area. Now I move on to questions. So are there drivers who have any questions? If so, please come forward. Then we will translate and tell them to the group. Yeah, that's great. Put it on when you move. You want to ask something?
Yeah.
Try to go to the side of it.
Yeah, I just wanted to know in the start procedure, obviously it's double file, how the leader can dictate the pace, when can he accelerate, when can we overtake. But you know, if you can go through the detail of the procedure of the restart, of the start.
Pô, aquele lado é melhor. O lado do Greg é melhor pra falar.
Okay, we're back. So it's a good question, thank you. I've written that also in the rules. The thing is, you have to be double file, very slow pace, and nobody can overtake before crossing the start-finish line. And when we drop the green flag, then the leader can accelerate, okay? And we will put cones there. 3 or 4, so that there will be no weaving and crossovers before all of you reach the start-finish line.
Is it off?
Say it in a microphone. Say it in a microphone for everyone. No, it's on.
So when the track layout is without the small circuit, then where is the penalty point? Because you don't have the entry of the pit lane there.
That clear in the briefing on that day.
We will announce this on the day we will use that short layout. We will tell you while the briefings.
Only one day.
Just about the pit procedure, you said that you're going to mark it. How are you marking it? Are there going to be specific bays? And what happens if you've got 5, 6 people coming in at a time who start further back? Is there anything to protect that?
We want them to be next to each other.
One line. Is it a line or bays?
We will make sure that there is a line between cones and also tape it. And you can stand there next to each other. And if there's too much traffic, it's okay if you park right behind a cart which is parked there already. Okay?
Paul, there's another question. Yeah.
Put it on.
Turn it off. It's already on again.
The time trial procedure, the 1 lap trial, it will be each driver part 2 seconds. You think it's enough? Because the difference between drivers could be less or more. So what happens if they are caught each other?
It's a good question, but it's also written in the rules. Obviously, when you're catching somebody who is slower, you are allowed to overtake on the outlap, and you are also, with 2 seconds in between, you should be fine. We've tested this multiple times, but of course you can overtake either in the outlap or on your actual qualifying lap. And there are also penalties if people see a rival or anybody. If there are any dirty tricks like blocking somebody who's on the qualifying lap, this person will be disqualified from the race. So you can overtake during the qualifying lap. The thing is, why do we do this? Why do we let the people apart? If we would allow everybody to go onto the track together, teammates, countrymen, they could work together, deliberately give each other slipstreams, and this would be unfair compared to drivers who are here all by themselves and they have nobody to work with on the qualifying lap. So we want to create equal opportunities for all, and who you start behind, that's just random. So that's why we use this method for the qualifying.
Okay, guys, once you are released from there, you are on racing mode. You don't look back, you look forward, and you race as fast as you can. If we see that anyone is actually pulling off the throttle to wait for somebody else, that's it, he starts last for sure. That is the minimum penalty he will get. So don't even think about pulling off the throttle on your timing lap, okay? Another thing I'd like to say, Greg, that I forgot all about it, is about the change on the track layout. You have practiced on the track layout this morning, and unfortunately, we have found out that due to the track abrasiveness, we are having severe problems with the right front tire. And it is almost certain that if we use that track, there will be flat tires. So we have changed that track slightly, eliminating that S. And I know it's a surprise for all of them, but again, it's a surprise for all. It's not new for, there's no one that really knows or have practice in this new layout that we're going to show. And again, it's a very small change. We're just eliminating the S, and that S is for your own safety and to make sure that you will finish the race without a flat tire. So I count on your comprehension on this small change we made. Any other questions? Okay, guys, so I would like to tell you, first of all those drivers that have not picked up their t-shirt or their little bag, you have to do that right now, because that's the only way I can confirm that you are here. So if you don't pick up your bag right now, this means that I'm pulling you off the draw, the group draws, okay? So the most important thing, if you have not picked up your bag, please go to the briefing room, look for me, talk to me, okay? Okay, guys, thank you very much. I wish you all good luck, especially that you're safe, and we all come out happy next Saturday. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
You had to chat. Yeah, but this is just I just want to. No one else will chat. Yes. But we're driving right now. Finishing up with the tires in 3 laps. So we're not doing that now. So we're going to replace them.
Ça veut dire au lieu d'aller là,
Sorry, how can we know who's how can we know who's
Right now. Guys, you had a chance to ask questions, guys. What I they have to check for the final confirmation. Yeah.